nitty-gritty EDA, we realized that it was because document text was bleeding into labels, which made the data appear as a multi-class problem when really it's just binary of suicide or not suicide. So to fix this, we used brute force and just deleted those rows and examples that were causing this bleed over. And we kind of thought that this was okay data practice because they accounted for less than 1% of our training set. When we built the custom model, there were a lot of default parameters, and one of the biggest ones that we changed was the classifier mode, which is pictured here on the slide. You can see there's the option of single label mode or multi-label mode, and because again we have this binary of suicide or not suicide, we used the single label mode. After hours of training, our model came out with pretty satisfactory evaluation metrics. You can see accuracy and F1 score were both at 97%, and we felt this was a pretty good number that would neither indicate strong underfitting or overfitting. And while we were unable to add more metrics, we do feel that these two metrics are core and very reasonable for the context of our data and our problem. So now Nika's going to do a demo.
Yeah, like Tessa said, I'm just going to do a brief run through of our whole pipeline. So here is where we created the endpoint, which in AWS basically allows you to just connect to a model you've made. So here is the model that Tessa was just describing, and here's our current version of it. Basically what this does is it generates an ARN, which is just like a code that allows us to connect our model to the rest of our pipeline. So this is the AWS Cloud9 platform, which basically allows us to input all of our code for the API. So here is the part where we define the function that calls the custom model. You can see here that it has an argument for the ARN. And here in the code for the Lambda function is where we use that ARN. So basically this part is just getting the text that was scraped by the web page or by the extension code. And then here's where we input our ARN, and that, or we call the model in this function, and that's what gets the response. So, so then basically, I'm not going to do it now because it takes a bit of time, but basically from here in the console, we basically can spin up the serverless application model, and that connects to the API Gateway API. So from here, they have like a nice little diagram that they've made for how the get Lambda function works. Basically, the method request just goes from the ARN, from the endpoint ARN, it's passed to the Lambda proxy, and then it passes to the Lambda function itself, which comes out as a response eventually. There's also an option for testing. This helped us a lot when we were trying to figure out how things were working. So I'm just going to use this text that we got from a Reddit, the suicide page on Reddit. And we made sure that this was not one of the examples that was in our training data overfit. So if you input it like this and you click on test, basically then it just shows up on the side, it shows the request, and it shows that it's working correctly, and it correctly classified it as suicide with a chance of 99.7%. So now I'm just going to show how it works on the actual extension. Basically, if you go into Chrome extensions and you choose developer mode, it allows you to upload your own source code. Right now it looks like this, but we're going to do that. So basically right now we just have it so that we can input text into a notification field. And when you click on notify, as you can see here, it sends a little notification in Chrome, and you can see again that it's classified correctly as suicidal text. Something else that we found really useful was the CloudWatch logs, which basically you can see all past requests, which has been really helpful for us. In the log group for the get Lambda function, if I hit refresh, it'll show the latest log stream. And basically it contains all of that information, like the time of the request and the text and what the classification was, which you can see over here. And yeah, so basically to close out the demo, I'm just going to briefly show you guys our extension code. It is pretty detailed, but basically the gist of this is that it's creating a pop-up box with a field for text. And basically there's a notification system where it fetches the response using this link over here. And then it creates a notification in Google Chrome. But yeah, like we mentioned before, this is not the final UI design of our extension.